Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. Good week to you. Yeah. So we kind of talked about this a little bit off air, but sometimes, we've gone to the trouble, or some of us have, and we've got our own private disability insurance. How does that play in, or what are some of these other options that we...
Well, yeah, and that's something we encounter pretty often. People have short-term or long-term disability plans that they either buy independently, like maybe you have, or you get them through your employer a lot of times. And the thing with those plans, traditionally, they pay 66 and change, two-thirds basically of your base salary. If you buy some on the private market, you can buy some that are a fixed dollar amount per month as opposed to the percentage of your salary. The thing is those programs or those plans guarantee you two-thirds of your salary, for example. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't always come from the insurance company. And so if you file for Social Security disability and you're approved, oftentimes the long-term insurance gets a break. They get a discount. Social Security kicks in their part. They supplement it to the extent that they have to bring you up to 66 and two-thirds of your base salary.
I see.
And that's kind of what you end up with.
It's not always the boon that you think it is.
That's correct. It's a big surprise for a lot of people because as soon as they get their disability check from Social Security reflecting their back pay, the insurance company has the handout and say, we want to be reimbursed for these months that we covered this, but we didn't have to.
Yeah, wow.
Or we shouldn't have had to. The other thing that comes along with long-term disability is oftentimes they will provide you with a disability representative. And it sounds great, but you got to bear in mind the insurance's primary function or primary motivation is to get you approved to help reduce their monthly exposure.
Right.
Isn't necessarily as concerned about the amount of back pay that you may be eligible for.
Right, yeah, for sure.
And so, I guess it sounds kind of ominous, I guess, to think that the insurance company and the attorney are going to conspire against you. I don't think that's the case.
No.
They've just got different interests than maybe you do, and you don't want to lose a big portion of your back pay because somebody's willing to settle to resolve the insurance company's concerns as opposed to yours.
Yeah, I mean, it's always important to make sure that everybody's interests are aligned as best as possible, and obviously, that the advocate, it's no skin off their nose if they get you extra back pay, and that obviously could benefit the insurance company as well. So there's not really a lot of cross alignment there. But something to be concerned about, certainly worth maybe pursuing your own representative.
Yeah, and the insurance companies will always allow you to pursue your own representative. They want to make sure you have somebody who's helping you with it. They care to some extent if it's their in-house people, but they'll allow an outside representative who maybe can better reflect your desires and your needs in this process.
Yeah, no, that's good. So any other resources out there available?
Yeah, other things that come up a lot of times are unemployment compensation. We all know that our employers pay into unemployment compensation. It's there for us in the event that we're terminated. Of course, not with cause, as a lot of us have maybe seen that play out as bosses throughout the years. But nonetheless, with that unemployment compensation, you are telling the state that you're ready, willing, and able to go back to work. At the same time, you're telling the federal government that you're unable to work.
You can't work.
And so it looks like we've got some sort of a rub here. A lot of times what I find in reality is that judges will look at this and say, look, people do what they have to do to eat.
Yeah.
I've only seen one judge ever make a big stink out of it. My client very savagely, thank you, savagely, looked at the judge and said, hey, look, I'm ready, willing, and able to go back to work if I could just find an employer that would allow me some additional accommodations.
Yeah, would accommodate.
And I can't find that guy. So, you've got truth in both realms in that regard.
That's a very good way to reconcile those two disparities.
And then kind of the last thing is workman's comp, because we encounter this from time to time. People are hurt in their jobs, leads to a disability, and they file for Social Security. And a lot of folks don't know, but there is a workman's comp offset with Social Security. You probably know this. But essentially what Social Security does is they establish what your base average earnings were in the time that you worked. And if your workman's comp settlement exceeds 80% of your average earnings, then they reduce your Social Security payment accordingly. And so a lot of times it doesn't come up. People don't get huge settlements. I have seen a few clients that got very sizable settlements. There was an offset. Took $350 out of one gentleman's check per month because of the workman's comp. But they don't want you paid for the inability to work twice.
Yeah. You're not looking to use the word again, a boon,
exactly.
A bonus, I guess, to say that. Hey, if you have questions about this or otherwise, or just, thinking, one thing we haven't mentioned in a while that I think is important to mention, Roy, is sometimes we're hurt and we're still working, and maybe we shouldn't be. And, maybe somebody's watching here goes, hey, golly, maybe maybe there is some relief for me here. Give Rory a call. His number's on the screen, 417-812-6698. Answers his phone today.
I will indeed.
All right, and we'll be back next week. Thank you.